Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas Smith. I'm the head of business development at Netcapital. Let's give everyone a few moments here to get settled in. Great. We have dozens of folks coming in now. We do have a few items to go over. So with that, I just want to thank everyone for joining us. We are very excited for October 2022 Demo Day as we are joined by leadership from three fantastic companies. Today, we have Genesis AI and their founder and CEO, Art Chill, Parent Playbook, and their co-founder and CEO, Phil, as well as their co-founder and COO, Bruce, as well as the ClickerX team, CEO James, CSIO Jillian, as well as James and Tamar. Before I get started, I just want to touch upon a few housekeeping items. As with all of our companies that we host during our demo days, each of them are actively raising on Netcapital right now. You can invest in each of them by visiting netcapital.com and searching these exciting companies today. Next, I want to mention that we do want this demo day to be as interactive as possible. So please, when asking questions, please use the Q&A function, not the chat. I know it's tempting, but the Q&A function when asking questions, and it will just help us keep more organized and specifically me in terms of structure. Lastly, I just want to talk about the format for today's demo day. Each company will be presenting for 5 minutes and it will be followed by a 5-minute Q&A. However, you don't have to wait till the Q&A to start asking the questions. Please drop them in the Q&A and I'll organize them and follow up in the appropriate manner. Also, as each company is presenting, I will drop a link to their investment offering in the chat. So if you're interested, please visit their investment pages to learn more about their companies. And then after these companies present, each of them, we will do a 2-minute final thought on why someone should consider investing in their companies today. And with that, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce, and some people may have heard of him before and seen him on different webinars and demo days, and Art Chill is a great friend of Netcapital, so it's my pleasure to introduce Art Chill, founder and CEO of Genesis AI. Art Chill, get in here and tell people the great work that you're doing with Genesis.
Thank you, Thomas. Glad to be here. I think this might be my second or third time on Netcapital's demo day, and I would love to also thank each of our Genesis AI community members who are attending on this webinar. I'm really glad to see some of our community members here. I mentioned a few times that together we are stronger, and so I'm really excited to reshare what we do at Genesis AI to our community members, and also invite potentially new Genesis AI community members to learn a little bit more about how we plan to contribute to this world of AI and hopefully to the world as well. So Genesis AI, so we're building a global AI marketplace. So it's a website that connects buyers and sellers of artificial intelligence products and services. So I'll start from our major strengths, which I think is our team. So there are 3 people in the core team in Genesis AI. I myself and Mena, we went to school together at Harvard. We also worked on our previous AI startup, Palatine Analytics, together. I think we have around maybe 5-6 years of working relationship and maybe even more, and have known each other for almost 9 years from now. I'm on the business development side. I used to work at the largest hedge fund in the world, Bridgewater Associates, and I did a couple of AI startups. I guess this is my second AI startup, and I also started a couple of other companies as well with mixed success. Mena did a PhD at Harvard. He's super technical. He's our chief scientist, and Arthur Bell is our senior software engineer. He worked at Salesforce for 5 years as a software engineer and in American Express as a software engineer as well. In terms of advisors, we also have a great team of advisory board. We have Neil Flansreich, who had $2 billion, multiple billion-dollar exits. We have Professor Eli Ofek from Harvard Business School, and also former Dean of Engineering at MIT, Professor Thomas Magnati, who is Professor Emeritus in MIT, highest title professor can get in MIT. In terms of market size, so this is probably one of the most exciting parts about Genesis AI. The market we are in, which is AI market, is estimated to be around 210 billion right now. It's estimated to get to around $2.8 trillion by 2030 by Transparency Market Research. And not only we are operating in the markets that's already enormous, it's gonna get even bigger, but also timing is perfect because there's only been recently that cost of computation, cost of computing power went down so much that many AI startups can benefit from there being vast amount of data, build their own AI APIs, and potentially deploy their AI API on our platform. We are an aggregator of AI APIs, right? So if there is a huge increase in number of AI API startups, that's going to directly benefit to us. So this is a perfect time for us to be operating into this artificial intelligence market. So where we are right now, and pretty sure that some of our existing community members will be excited to hear about this. So we started generating revenue this year, which is very exciting. It's the first 6 months we have been generating around 1,100 in the monthly revenue. We have around 2,000 users, and so far we have raised around 5 million. That's allowed us to build a product, hire people, and generate revenue, generate user growth, and contribute to the AI market and to the world as a whole as well. So I'd like to quickly show you guys, everyone, how our software actually works. So here is our marketplace. You can see on the left side there are a list of AI tools. There's lots of AI tools ranging from speech recognition to text analysis to computer vision. You can compare different AI tools, see their review scores, read about their documentation, see pricing, and finally install and run. For example, one of my favorite AI tools, which are used by students, it's called Paraphrasing AI tool. Idea here is I can go to, for example, CNN.com, then I can copy paste, for example, just a sample text from here. For example, Kanye West making some sort of remarks, and then I can try to paraphrase. And if I'm, let's say, writing an article or a SEO blog post about Kanye West, I can save lots of time by simply paraphrasing, right? Or if I'm a student and I need to quote someone and I need to paraphrase this manually, I can save time doing it by using Genesis AI tools. And if you can read this example, our tool paraphrases everything. I would say probably 90-95% accuracy. This is all readable. This is, you usually will not find anything that is very abnormal. So this is just an example where AI industry is right now. And okay, so to go back to the where we are. So what's the problem, right? So major problems that we are solving is that it's really hard to discover, test, and integrate artificial intelligence tools, because each of these tools have different data formats, data structures, and so on. And we decide to solve this problem by building a marketplace that allows anyone in the world to discover, test, and integrate AI APIs in their own development environment. And what we want to do is to become sort of Google of all things AI, sort of a go-to place for all things AI, aggregator of both data, AI tools, and interconnecting all this together. And to go to the summary, we are building a global AI marketplace that allows anyone to use power of AI personally or in their businesses. So far, we have raised around 5 million. We have raised, I think it's our third time on Netcapital. We have more than 4,000 investors from crowdfunding and also VCs as well. I would like to see more investors joining us. Together we are stronger. And I really, really hope that the future of AI will be very bright.
Archil, thank you so much. And it's been really interesting. And I've personally enjoyed seeing your company grow. So congratulations on your success thus far. Archil, we had a few questions come in regarding your plans for 2023. Can you highlight some things that you're looking most looking forward to, let's say in Q1 and Q2 of next year for the company?
For sure. That's a great question. I want to talk about our roadmap. So our roadmap is targeted on two directions. So first one is product, second one is business development. On the product side, we would like to improve quality and quantity of our AI products and also make progress on big R&D project, which is how you can interconnect multiple AI tools to increase not only accuracy rate, but also functionality of these AI tools. Example that I usually like to mention is speech recognition plus translation equals speech translation, right? Second direction is on the business development side, right? Which is keep revenue growth, increase engagement of our users, increase number of daily active users we have. Also, probably triple number of AI startups we have partnerships with, a number of AI companies that have deployed their AI tool on our platform. And finally, allow us to have some sort of a breakthrough in one of the AI models, build or deploy one of the state-of-the-art AI models that's going to get enormous traction, right? For example, one of the industries we are considering entering right now and developing is AI in gaming. For example, AI-powered visual computer graphics glitch detector. And we believe that through experimentation and through building, we'll be able to discover one major AI tool that we can rely heavily on when it comes to growth, both in terms of revenue and user terms.
Thanks, Archil. Following up with that, again, a few questions coming in on the market. So it's predicted going from this year to 2030, going from $1 billion marketplace to $1 trillion marketplace. What do you contribute that to personally, Archil?
For sure. So our goal, I'll talk about our very much longer term goal and also more of a shorter term one. So our longer term goal, and I would say it's something that's definitely not, of course, guaranteed, we might never get there, is to lay foundation for creation of artificial general intelligence. And if we are able to get there, we believe this will be the single most valuable technology that the mankind will ever create. And we believe that we have higher chances of potentially getting there than some other companies because of our more practical approach towards potentially building artificial general intelligence. And our approach relies on not inventing crazy the sort of computer brains that will be able to do everything, but instead bring all of these expert AI tools together and interconnect them, right? For example, there are different parts in my brain that can do different things, right? One part, for example, might be responsible for speech, another for analyzing, for example, visual objects. And as a whole, human brain can do basically miracles, right? It's exactly what we want to do. We want to connect so many expert AI tools that we can, as a whole, do many, many things. And more in the short-term goals is to choose two things. So first one is to help more and more AI startups and AI developers to monetize their solution, right? For example, if you are a smart PhD student in Bulgaria, it's really hard for you to sell to enterprises your AI solutions, right? But through Genesis AI, you can deploy your tool and potentially we will bring these clients and users for you. And the last part is when it comes to values that we are going to bring to the businesses and software engineers so that they do not need to reinvent the wheel, rather than they can go to Genesis AI platform and use already existing AI solutions.
Archil, thank you. And we had several more questions come in. So I just do want to remind everyone, we're not going to be able to get to all of them, but you can still interact with Archil. If you go to the investment offering page that I dropped in the chat, there's a discussion board on there, and feel free to interact with Archil and his team from there. Archil, thank you so much. And we will chat with you in a few minutes here. Perfect. Thanks, Archil. Next, Parent Playbook, Phil and Bruce. I've had the pleasure of working with these two gentlemen over the past few months. And before we get started, I'm not a parent yet, but the plan is in the next year or two. So I have enjoyed getting to know this company because I feel like I am getting my PhD in a sector of life and an important part of life that, right, guys, doesn't have a playbook. Things can happen. So your help guiding the course, and really looking forward to hearing how everything's going. And Phil and Bruce, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Thomas. It's so great to be with everyone. We value everyone's time. One of the headlines that we use in our company is that they say it takes a village to raise a child. We put that village in your pocket. So let me start there, and welcome to Parent Playbook. My name is Phil Anderson. As mentioned by Thomas, I am co-founder and CEO, joined today by a co-founder and COO, Bruce Hymas, as well. Let's talk through the problem that we're solving based on data we gleaned from over 400 hours of interviews that we conducted. Number one, it is extremely hard for parents to find custom solutions that fit a child's exact needs. Number two, there's disagreements on how to apply that information when they find it. Number three, and this is a big one, is disconnection from other parents that leaves parents feeling lost, alone, and completely overwhelmed. Ironically, in a world that's more connected than ever, we're more disconnected than ever. People crave connection. Parent Playbook speaks to that. And number four, too much noise and toxicity on other social platforms. The solution is a response that is free to download, free to use. I'll talk about how we monetize, but we wanted to make this available to everyone. It's a market network for parents to connect with a community to help them find solutions, connect and collaborate with their circle of trust or the entire community, and then when needed, connect with a professional in a telehealth type engagement for one-on-one help. So let's break these down, each of these, and start with find. What does that mean? Search and social. Inside the platform, which we just released into the Google and Apple stores after building it, coding it for the last year and a half. And prior to that, spending a year and a half deeply immersed in understanding and building the model. We are excited that the platform is available. We released it to a small section of users, and the data we're seeing is very positive. Find, you create a news feed inside the platform that's customized with information for your family, therefore making it relevant. You can quickly search and get answers from other parents and professionals, and you'll have the ability in the next 2 weeks or so to be able to ask questions of your circle of trust, the entire community, or target it just to professionals and have them reply to the questions that you ask. The second is the ability to collaborate. You can save information relative to parenting in one location. You can be in a blog post. You can be in an article on a news website. You could even be listening to a podcast, and with a couple of clicks, you can drop it into a playbook for the child that's relevant to, or maybe it's just a general piece of information for your family. You create a playbook inside the platform, inside the app, and you now have a repository for this information that's important to you. You can create and share information inside the platform, and you're able to connect and collaborate with users inside the platform as well. And then the third component, when you have a challenge as mentioned that rises to the level of wanting to talk to someone, you have the ability to search our database for credentialed professionals, think therapists, think family counselors. Think perhaps even a parent life coach. We match you up. You can direct message them or connect in video similar to what we're doing today, all inside the platform if you just want to talk to someone about the challenge that you have. So let's talk about the use cases. A family creates a profile. They can then save information that's important into individual playbooks, and with a tap, access that information again. They can connect and collaborate with a community. When they engage a professional, they can make payment inside that ecosystem for the professional services. And the platform's designed to grow with everyone. Who's it built for? Look to the left. Moms, dads, but also content creators and advertisers, close family and friends, and professional services. This is what we call a competition pedal chart. Who's our competition? Family and friends, that's competition. Social platforms, Facebook groups, Instagram, Pinterest, other parenting apps. Continuing around to the left, bloggers, websites, podcasts. Keep going, Google, Yahoo, Quora, Bing. These are all competitors. One of the really amazing things about our model is most of these actually support us. They don't compete with us. They drive traffic based on our model to Parent Playbook. We're not actually competing directly with them, with the exception being parenting apps. So let's talk about how do we then take a platform that I've explained is free to download, free to use for parents all over the world. Digital advertising, interesting, 85% of all money spent in US households, 85% flows through moms. It is the most prized advertising demographic. It's a $2.6 billion market when we look at it in its total. Move over to the far right, that little circle represents what's called a serviceable, obtainable market of 109 million that is targeted for us when we look at 4 years, 18 million users on the platform. So digital advertising that's not intrusive. You don't have to watch a 30-second video to access content, but that's targeted, specific, and relevant, produces revenue. Then telehealth. The user doesn't pay us to access the platform. If they engage a professional inside the platform, of course, they're subject to that professional's hourly billable rate. We take a small percentage of that hourly billable engagement when a parent wants to access a professional to get help for that child, whether they're a teenager struggling with addictions or whether they are a toddler that's exhibiting perhaps pre-anxiety or early stage anxiety. So this is it's a $34 billion total addressable market. Go over to the far right, that represents the serviceable, obtainable market that we're targeting, which is 145 million in revenue in 4 years from that segment. So what does our journey look like? We spent the first 18 months of this idea testing it to see if we were solving a problem the market actually wanted us to solve. Or was it us thinking there's a problem and the market said, we don't really need you to solve that? Well, we learned it's an acute problem. We proceeded to build it. And this represents the stages of our development. We raised a pre-seed round in just a couple of weeks back in April of 2021. This was pre-seed money. We raised over $1 million. We released an MVP in October, and just again several days ago, about a week and a half ago, we released the app to a small segment of users. It is available today in the Apple and Google stores, and we will begin to scale and accelerate from here. So our competitive advantages are one-stop, easy find, save and share parenting information. Network effect means virality. There's no more viral ecosystem than parents. Machine learning, we're able to remove harmful or toxic content quickly, and we're creating the world's collective mind on parenting. In conclusion, this is our team. My background is in pillar 3, which is creating content that's delivered. I've spent almost 2 decades in that space. Co-founded a company called Beacon Learning Group 15 years ago. And the company's been successful, is still in business. I know how hard it is to build a successful business. I know the importance of a team. We have an amazing, amazing team. Bruce Hymas, my co-founder here on this call, worked for Bank of America managing hundreds of software teams. Phil McDonald is about to graduate with his master's degree with an emphasis in machine learning as our CTO. Dr. Hawken is a mental health professional, a tenured emeritus professor at the University of Utah in their mental health program. This is some of our team members. Samita is a developer, came to us from Oracle. Charles is a developer on our team, came to us formerly having been at Google. Ethan is a recent college graduate, prolific programmer. Maddie does UX. Her job's to humanize technology and to make it easy to use. She's a member of our team. She's amazing. Neriel is one of our key advisors. Some of you may know him as a key advisor to Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram. He helped them to create their technology in a way so people became used to using it and were likely to come back. He's a key advisor to us. Dr. Hendershot with diversity. John Richards is an investor in Parent Playbook, one of the most prolific investors in the state of Utah for tech startups, and very connected. Brant Red worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He's a technical advisor to us. This is our team. Thank you so much for hearing something of our story. We're very passionate about what we're doing, its impact. I'll have an opportunity to talk more about that here in a few minutes. Back to you, Thomas.
Phil, thank you so much, and really appreciate the background and context here. Got a couple of questions, and then the first one I thought was interesting. I'm guessing these maybe come from parents, but what was the impetus for you and Bruce when founding this company?
Yeah, I'm going to have Bruce answer that question quickly, because the original idea came from Bruce, my co-founder. So go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, at the time, we were expecting our fourth kid. So we have 3 girls and 1 boy. My wife said, "Hey, I'm following this Instagram influencer. I'm in the Carolinas. She's coming out from Utah to the Carolinas." So we went to this Saturday seminar and on just positive parenting seminar. And at lunch and even afterwards, I saw a long line of people. We got really good positive parenting information, but there was still a long line of people wanting to ask specific questions for their specific child. And so that's when I just turned to my wife. I was like, there is something big missing here, and we probably need to solve it. So that's when we started to go out to our neighbors, people at the gymnastics gym, and just ask a lot of questions. Like Phil said, we've done over 400 interviews, even 60 to 90-minute interviews. And we found that there is a need for what we're building. So that's how we got started.
Really appreciate that, Bruce. Next question that came in. Bruce, I'll start with you. The person asked to hear from both co-founders. The most exciting part of going into 2023, Bruce, what are you most excited about for Parent Playbook? And then Phil, what are you most excited about? Bruce, we'll start with you.
For me, it's the connection. My wife and I have been able to use the platform, obviously, for several months as we've been building it. And I just asked my wife the other day, I said, what do you really appreciate about the app? And she just says, I feel like I'm not alone. You know, she can connect to me, she can connect to other parents. And it's really created that situation where we are on the same page with our parenting. And we've been able to solve problems with overscheduling our kids, you know, even cheating in school. We've run into that. And so we had to take care of that. And we've had a really good experience because of the content that we found. And then we can connect together. We have dozens and dozens of content saved right now on our playbooks by child and by topic. And right now we do have about 6,300 pieces of content on the platform.
I'm excited about that now, the time that we've proven out the business model, and we're now ready to just pour on the gas and scale. When you build something, especially something that's technical, it takes time. There's bugs you fix, you calibrate the platform, the software, you're looking at the model. And we've just at a point where we're ready to throw down and accelerate the growth of the brand and getting it into the hands of parents. The platform, when people use it, when they touch the technology, they feel different than when they touch other types of social interaction. And that's been a key thing for us. So I'm just excited to scale this into the hands of what will begin with thousands and thousands of users here in the United States. That'll grow from there with the target objective, having millions and millions of families benefit from having technology that actually empowers them, doesn't distract them away from things that are even more important. It focuses them on the things that matter most, which is these personal connections with families.
Really appreciate that, Phil, and thank you, Bruce. We have time for one more question. This was more targeted, which I thought was interesting. So I'm going to read it verbatim here. Question for Parent Playbook. The impact of this cannot be understated. The world and society needs positive apps like this. If you're able to disclose at a high level, what features do you plan to release in the app in 2023?
Yeah, so I'll talk through some of these, and then I'll have Bruce as well, who works very closely with the dev team. One of the things I'm really excited about in 2023 is releasing the ability to this telehealth platform component is a needle mover, right? We understand that the mathematical formula for how many parents will have a problem where they need to engage a professional, but by the time they engage that professional, it's become a pretty significant problem. And if we can make access convenient, technologically sound, safe, for them to connect with a professional quickly with a few clicks of a button to get help in these relationships that matter the most, which is with their children and helping their children, then we really are very high impact. And that technology, we're actually in the process of building that specific feature, which we'll release sometime in 2023. There's a whole lot of features though coming. The category that we're in is parent empowerment. That's the category we seek to own as parent empowerment. And that represents a whole lot of potential tools that parents are asking us for that we have slated in what we call a backlog to build. But that ability to connect with a professional in 2023 is what I'm most excited about. What else, Bruce?
Yeah, I'd probably say the same thing as connecting with professionals in a much more matched way. You know, people are just like, hey, how can I get connected to the right professional? And the professionals are saying, how can I get connected to the right clients? So that would be a great thing to get in and really nail that. Right now, we're working on a question and answer, and just kind of a forum, an open forum for people to come in and get support. So that's going to, like Phil said, that's going to be available here pretty soon. But 2023 is more around the professionals and getting that dialed in.
Thanks, Bruce, and thank you, Phil. We'll hear again from you guys in just a moment here. But again, if you're interested in learning more about Parent Playbook, interacting with Bruce or Phil, or investing in their company, you can go to the link that I placed in the chat. And Archo, I do apologize. I dropped in your link to just the panelists, so I'm going to repost Genesis AI's investment link in their chat. Next up, we have the team from ClickerX. And correct me if I'm wrong, team, I think we've been working together for over 6 months. And I personally enjoy just the evolution, the progress that I've seen from our first conversation to now. And really, I remember our first conversation vividly. It was, you know, a line came across as people struggle to choose between too many entertainment options. Went on TV, I was like, that's me. I struggle. There's too many options. And then when I learned more about the company and what the team was doing, I just really found it fascinating, and I just really enjoyed seeing the progress here. So and before we start, Phil or Bruce, would you mind stopping to share your screen just so we can upload here?
Yeah, you got it.
Here we go. And without further ado, ClickerX team, take it away.
Hi, James O'Loughlin, co-founder and CEO. And yeah, as Tom was saying, we realized in the pandemic, the number one question our friends were asking is, you know, what are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? And after a few multiple back-to-back conversations of people saying that, I was like, okay, you know, I need to build an app for that. And everybody's answer was like, if you do that, we need to invest. And I said that multiple times, and everybody wanted to invest. I'm like, all right, I haven't had an idea where I haven't pushed, you know, to get people to invest. So we have ClickerX, people-powered recommendations. The CEO, you can read about everybody on the Netcapital page. I feel that the team has multiple exits, a lot of building up businesses and programs, and you know, a lot of investments, acquisitions, and mergers. Myself, I ran an agency for 20 years, and then I started a new agency about 3 years ago. And I view ClickerX as another client of our agency. So I have a complete marketing team and development team ready to build this. So we've been building this all in-house for a year. And without further ado, I'll pass this off to Jillian, who's our CSIO.
Thanks, James. So I'm actually going to build a little bit off of Parent Playbook, and just think about the end of a long night. I have 3 kids. I put them to bed, and best part of my day is when I go downstairs, sink into the couch, and I want to quickly find something to watch, something that I know I'll like, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. And what I find, and what I think a lot of people find, especially now that we've cut the cord and we're using a lot of streaming media, is that there's just too much out there. You put the TV on, you put on your Apple TV, and it's just a deluge of apps. And so the first problem that I think everybody on here probably can relate to is there's just too much to choose from. So we started, as James said, by really looking at how can we solve this problem. And what we found is that we've come up with a solution that actually we can use for a lot of different categories. So what we found when we really dug into this to really see what was underlying it, there's more than 300 streaming platforms, and it's a number that's doubled since 2014, and I think we'll still see growth there. And 78% of the US population has at least one of the top streaming services. So Netflix, Amazon, Netflix has just had a turnaround, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and there's more than 5,000 content titles on just Netflix alone. So every time we decide to find one thing to watch, we are looking at tens and tens of thousands of different programming titles. And what people are finding is this, it's all just too overwhelming. So from the data, we find that people are finding that they just can't sift through it. 50% of viewers say there's just too many services. 40% say it's just hard to know what's out there, what shows are on the services. 44% so they have a hard time finding something to watch. So we realize we are not alone, and this is a massive, massive problem. So the second problem is that there's really no good way to find what to watch. And what we found is that in 2021, people were so confused that they actually turned to Google. They turned to Google all over the world. So the #1 Google search question globally in 2021 was what to watch. You have thousands and thousands of options, and yet you're asking Google. We also found that people weren't happy with the suggestions that they were getting from AI and from algorithm. They didn't want Netflix to tell them what they wanted. They weren't getting really reliable results, and they would spend time looking and looking and looking through all these suggestions and end up wasting time finding something they didn't even like. And oftentimes, I think we can all relate to this guy on the next slide. Me, after watching something for 10 minutes, which you've taken an hour to find, right? You're trying desperately to make sense of all these different choices that you have. And then it turns out when you rely on the bots, that you put something that you very quickly realize is not for you. The last problem here, and this is something that we realized as we did this, as we started to look at our solution, as we started to think about technology, is not only could we solve the problem and the pain points of entertainment, not only could we think we could solve the problems of other categories, but we could think that we could do this in a way that could actually turn around the negative impact of social media. And I think we're all aware of this data, of the impact of social media on our mental health. So more than 1/3 of Americans feel that social media is harmful to their mental health. 2/3 of respondents in this particular survey by the American Psychiatric Association found that social media is related to social isolation and loneliness. So while we had digital connection, it was really pushing us further and further apart, putting us into our bubbles of one, and also linked actual negative mental health, such as depression, envy. We've all seen those performative pictures on social media that make us question our own lives, feeling bad about ourselves, feeling social anxiety. So we felt like this is something that we could do something about and turn around. We also found as we dug into this that, and again, I don't think this is any surprise to anybody, that social media and this type of technology was really being used to really tear at the fabric of society. So again, when you ask people how they feel about this, as a Pew Research Center, most people felt that social media was having a negative impact on society. So it was affecting people individually negatively, and it was also just tearing us apart, making it us divisive, separating us, putting into our own echo chambers. And we thought that we could solve the problem of how do we find good things to watch? How do we find good products that suit us? But also, how do we do it in a way that actually has people leaving our platform feeling better than when they went onto it? So James is going to take you through our solution, which is ClickRex.
Yeah, thanks, Jillian. So ClickRex is a free app to share, organize, and store your recommendations from a community of friends, not robots. If you go on to Netflix, Hulu, any of these other platforms, you're blasted with things that they want you to consume. When in fact, the best recommendations are the ones that I get from my friends or family members. And there's also another connection there. When you get that recommendation from a friend or family member, you're having that conversation with them in real life as well as online. And that's essentially, the data here is, this is from one poll, that the majority of people trust recommendations from friends and family members as opposed to social media critics and algorithms. Algorithms are the outlier here. So it's a pushback against the bots in the sense that we trust our friends for those recommendations. Some other things that have come up with these recommendations, and you might have experienced this. I know me personally, somebody's like, watch Ted Lasso. I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out what network Ted Lasso was on, and then I finally figure out it was on Apple TV. My wife and I will forget what shows we're watching, and then a month later we'll say, what was that show that we were watching a month ago that was in Canada, or something to that extent. And this just allows you to change the status of shows so you can remember what you're watching, as well as what other people are consuming. So inside of this, what we have some patent pending technology called our affinity engine, and the click meter is a gauge that essentially goes around the people that are in your click or outside of your click. And it's a simple algorithm that if in this example, if Cindy rates 10 shows and Sam rates 10 shows, the Venn diagram that is the overlap of those shows, the difference in their ratings or the proximity in their ratings will give us this affinity rating, which we show on the click meter. So this will go, for books, for TV shows, for podcasts, and calculate your affinity based on other users. So that is our patent pending technology inside of the app. On top of the patent pending technology and the technologies that we put into it, we're I don't know the official status, but we're going to be a public benefit corp. And part of it is just making sure that we are doing good and doing good with a purpose. So we have this CARES IP built into it, where our users will essentially rate how well we are making them, feel for community, agency, recognition, equity, and security. So our users will be continually rating us to make sure that we are delivering a product that is good for them. Our monetization strategy is ad revenue, sponsorship. So people can sponsor to advertise on ClickRex, affiliate. So if we get somebody to sign up for Hulu, or I don't think Netflix is doing that anymore, but Amazon, or somebody goes and buys a book, we'll have those affiliate sponsorships, and then premium subscriptions. One piece later on will be the data. And the market size, 2021 is when we started. Social media market size, it's 178 billion. We're looking at 934 billion, and the worldwide users is just going to grow exponentially. So there's a lot of potential here to do to have a micro social community. We've looked at the competition, and what we see here in the competition, the thing that is closest to us would be Likewise, but it is still filled with AI and bots, and just very noisy and very invasive. We want to be friendly, we want to be approachable, we want to be fun, we want to be engaging, and we also are offering the best recommendations from friends. We're not going to have bots drive our recommendations. Here's our SWOT. I'll share this so you can look at it, but we've essentially looked at the other competition. Our timeline to date, we're looking at actually releasing this next month. This is actually my phone over here, and we have it running. So you can click on any of these, see the recommendations that are what my friends have recommended, leave comments. I can look at other cast members in it and see what else they've been in. This is where we rate it. It's a fun little rating system. So we've been developing the app for about a year now, and we should be releasing it next month. Where am I? I think I'm at the end. All right.
James, really appreciate you running through everything with the team. Have a few questions that came in from the presentation. And James, this one specifically asked to you. James, what are you most proud of what you've been able to develop in 2022? And at a high level, what are you most excited about for ClickerX in 2023?
I think the best part of this is I've been developing this with my wife. I've been in technology since, started programming on Apple II, started mining Bitcoins early 2010, 2011. And I teach UI, UX, and this is an exercise that's really brought my wife and I together as far as like solving these problems. And then I realized that the problem that we're solving is we're connecting, people over media, over the things that we consume. And the app is not, I don't want it, some other pieces that we're putting in here is mindfulness. So we don't want you to doom scroll. At the end, we're going to give prompts to say, go for a walk, call your friend about that show they recommended, read that book that was recommended. So we want you to have the tool as a time saver and really pull out high quality media that relates to your friends and family.
Thanks, James. Next question is, this individual wants you to dive in further on the market opportunity. Not only what is it today, but where do you see it going over the next 5 years?
Pete, I have Pete on here as our, I could defer to him, but I think the market opportunity is if I look back at a famous quote from Steve Jobs, he said, I don't know, the late 90s, I'd be content with 5% of the computer market. I think I would be content with 1% of the social media market, being a $900 billion market. So I think the opportunity, when I fly in a plane and just look at everybody, media is something that everybody consumes. So this is a pathway that allows people to consume that. One piece that I forgot to address here is that the platform, the engine is product agnostic. So after we do TV shows, movies, books, podcasts, and we're going to do books, then we'll go into wine, we'll go into beer, we'll go into local restaurants, because your friends are the people that give you the best recommendations. And the click meter and the affinity engine will help align you between those.
That's exactly where I was going to go, James, is that, the market here isn't limited to media whatsoever. So as we expand the product set, we're going to continue to grow into other areas. Yeah.
Imagine, this could have Broadway shows. It could have restaurants, things that your friends rate, that the click meter says, how much affinity you have will help you, determine how much a match you are or not a match to expand.
Could I add to that also? Because I think that both the click and the Rex have enormous potential. So I think you talked about the Rex and how it can go across. The other part with the click meter, which we have here, is the other thing we want to do. While you may start by bringing your own click on, and those are clearly the people you know best and the people you feel will give you the most reliable recommendations. The other thing we want people to be able to do is to expand their world. And so to be able to find people they don't currently know, who may look different than them, who live in different parts of the country, who may have different beliefs, but who share interests with them, right? And we start to build those bridges between people, again, the social impact part of this. So we're connecting people outside of their current bubbles, and starting to also reap the benefit of the click meter and the click part of it. So we have benefits and growth both on the click side and on the rec side.
Yeah. To expand your world based on the click meter, based on the affinity engine.
No, this is great, guys. And just sliding in one more question, and then we're going to start with you on the 2 minutes why someone should consider investing in your company. Does this work on tablets, phones, computers, and TVs, or just a couple of these?
So it works on tablets and phones. It works on M1 Max. We will eventually have a web-based version. Our tech stack is built on Google's Flutter. Flutter intends to bridge mobile app development and web-based. You can reuse a lot of the features there, and then we will eventually get funding. We'll have Roku, we'll have Fire Stick, and we'll have Apple TV apps that'll be partner apps to go along with the iOS app.
No, this is great, guys, and really appreciate those thorough explanations. So we're getting to the end here, and if you wouldn't mind just minimizing the screen share, and ClickerX team, we're going to start with you. And James, why don't you take the lead on this? Someone's thinking about investing in your company. Can you just give a overview of 2 minutes why someone should consider investing?
I think that the idea is solid, the potential is unlimited, and the team that we have to build this has the credentials and the experience and the knowledge to complete a solution that really solves all those problems that Jillian presented there. We are overwhelmed with media. If I go to Google and say what to watch, there's too many options. I go to Netflix, I don't, you just get lost there. So what this is doing is making that bridge between, us in real life, and it's essentially a tool that allows me to connect with my friends and my family. And as Jillian said, people that might be outside of my clique based on this patent pending technology. I feel that what I've also experienced is media is not polarizing. You can have opinions on a TV show, but it's not the same as having an opinion on a politician. Those really can drive people apart, but having opinions on a TV show or a movie or a podcast or a book, you can still have a conversation. And I feel that bridges a lot of gap. So we are creating this micro social community where people can communicate and talk and be engaging. And we're starting with, the TV shows, movies, podcasts, and books. But as I said, this is just the beginning of, making Rex part of our vocabulary for, let's Rex it, and I think that our team is, in the end, talented to deliver this product. The other piece to that is I'm in an interesting space owning this agency that I don't need any outside capital to make it happen. I'm just excited about this as I was Bitcoin in like 2011, that I want people to be aware of the technology that's on the horizon. And so many people I said, you should check out this Bitcoin thing. You should check out these cryptocurrencies. I think this has a lot more potential to me personally and to the people that get involved.
James, thank you very much. And to Pete, Jillian, Timur, and to you, James, thank you so much for being with us today. Just dropped a link to your investment offering in the chat again. Followed by that is going to be Parent Playbooks link, and Bruce and Phil. Why don't you come on in here, 2 minutes, why someone should consider investing in your company.
There's a book written by Sam Wong, who's a prolific investor out of the Bay Area. And in that book, he said the number one predictor of a company's success, interestingly, is not what people think it is. The number one predictor is actually timing. Now, you need a team, you need capital. But he said, if you look back at the giants that own different categories, the timing just happened to be right. We believe we're at the intersection of technology and what's called family tech coming together. And our objective as a company is clear. Most companies have an idea, they're founded on an idea, and then they build on that idea only to get to market to find out the market really didn't need a solution to the problem that they thought existed. And so they've built capital, they've spent time and capital, and they've poured themselves into something that just isn't a fit with what the market wants. We've done the reverse of that. We've followed what's called a lean startup, where you front load the learning, you tap the brakes and go slow so that you perfect the model and you build what you know the market wants, because you ask the market and you test the market consistently. We've done it hundreds of times over 3 years. We know that we have a fit with what we've built, what we're building, and what the market is demanding. That is the reason why you should back us. It's called de-risking with lean startup. The methodology we've followed is you de-risk, you front load the learning. So you go slow at the start to learn so that what you build is actually what's scalable. And so we're fully confident in our position. I would conclude with my team. I have a team of all-stars. You can execute really, really well, but if you execute on the wrong strategy, you're going to end up in the wrong place. Most companies, if you look at the failure rate of companies, that's the problem. If you look at it backwards, they executed well, but it was the wrong strategy. I believe we've put in the work to understand the market, the model, and the strategy to take us all the way. So that's why we're the team you should back. We have the credentials, we have the experience. My background, having built successful companies in the past, it's hard to do. But I also want to congratulate the other two presenters here. Amazing. I loved listening to what it is that they shared and what they're building as well. So it's a real pleasure for us to be with this group, and we invite those listening to back us. We believe it'll be something that will be important. And I will just conclude with this: the social impact component. If you want your money to go to something that can be hugely profitable from a revenue generation and profit standpoint, great, back us. But if you also want to align yourself with something that has high social impact, if we can impact one child and change the trajectory of that child's life, we change the world of that child. But guess what? We also change the world, period. And we're going to do that millions and millions of times eventually per day with families all over the world. And so our social impact, our social footprint to do good is absolutely remarkable. Thank you.
Really appreciate it, Phil and Bruce. Thank you for being with us today. And last but certainly not least, Archil, Genesis AI. We've seen the evolution. Talk us through this time on 2 minutes why someone should invest, and their investment offering is in the chat now. Archil, take us home.
Thank you, Thomas, and thanks everyone for attending. So Genesis AI, if you believe this idea that everyone in the world should be able to use power of AI, and if you believe in the idea that not only big tech companies should have all the control over all the AI resources that join us, become one of our around 5,000 investors we have, for us to fight against big tech oligopolies and to allow everyone in the world to use power of AI. We have students, we have business people, we have teachers, lots of different people who can benefit from this beautiful technology and help us develop. Together we are stronger. I mentioned a few times, and I'd like to thank each one of our investors again. But this is the first reason. And second and most important, one of the most important reasons is, I would say, the markets, right? AI has been incredibly disruptive. It's probably already the single most valuable technology. We use it every day, right? Every time you, for example, need to translate something, every time you need to speak with Siri, right? Or when you want to get assistance from a self-driving car technology, we use it every day. This technology is already here. It's already dominating many aspects of the way we live, and it's only gonna get bigger. And if you want to be part of this AI revolution, then join us.
Archil, thank you so much. And thank you for being with us today. Genesis AI is actively raising right now on netcapital.com. Drop their link in the chat. Feel free to visit their page, as well as Parent Playbook and ClickerX. Pete, James, Jillian, Timur from ClickerX, thank you so much for being with us here today. Phil and Bruce from Parent Playbook, thank you both. And Archil, always a pleasure. Visit netcapital.com to view these exciting investment opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.